Hi there. Today I want us to learn something new. Generating a dissertation topic idea. Let's get started. So, a dissertation is normally a research paper that students in master's and the Ph.D. programs have to take before they can be allowed to graduate. Now, the most important part is to understand the biggest section of the studies in master's and Ph.D. are normally a research paper, doing a research paper. This research paper ushers the student into graduation, without which they cannot graduate. The first part of that research paper is to come up with a topic. And in today's video, I want to show you a step-by-step on how you can generate a topic that will qualify. The first thing you need to understand are the rules. Now, every institution has some rules, and some of the common rules are you must select a topic that is within your major. So if you are doing economics, you are expected to select a topic within economics. If you are doing marketing, you're expected to select a topic within marketing. That's why we are saying major is a very important part when you are thinking of generating a dissertation idea. Now, your major will also determine many things. What type of problems do you want to solve in the community? Because ideally, every dissertation is geared towards solving a problem. That's why you'll see there is always a problem statement in any of the dissertation that a student can do either for master's or for PhD levels. Now, once you've understood your major, there is another important rule, size of the paper. Most of the universities are going to stipulate what do they expect from you in terms of the number of words. You probably hear some of them saying, we want from you 10,000 words, 20,000 words, 15,000 words. Now, the topic that you come up with should be able to accommodate that size of paper. So you cannot raise a topic that will have a narrow discussion, a topic that is not wide. So your topic must be something that can be researched within the specified number of words and maybe beyond. The other things are other simple dynamics like deadline and scope. Now, deadline is something very important for your paper. Now, assuming now you want to do a cross-sectional study, that will take months and months and months of research. But you've only been given a deadline of 1 month by your school. So if your school give you a deadline of 2 months, most likely you will not do a primary research. You'll do maybe a desktop research or a peer an empirical research where you're going to look at what others said, but you're not going to collect the data directly from the population. Now, scope is another important attribute when you are thinking of the rules that are going to govern you to generate the topic. And scope simply means what are you expected to cover? Are you doing a research at a national level, at an international level, at a village level, or at an organizational level? If you are doing a research concerning your school, the scope is very small because even your target population is limited to people within your school. Now, once you've understood the rules that you're expected to follow, the other most logical thing to do is to look at your interest. I always advise when you are selecting a topic, interest is the most important part. Assume you've come up with a topic that is not interesting to you, and midway you find you don't have the energy to keep doing research, to keep pursuing, and so on and so forth. Now, within interest, there are things that are called likes and strengths. You may like something, but you don't have the capability to handle the academic bit of it. So you may like maths, but you're not good at it. You may like social media marketing, but you're not good at it. You may like other dynamic things like project management and the inclination toward technology, but you have no idea of how you're supposed to cover up a big paper, a huge paper, probably of 20,000 words and above. So your likes and strengths must match. If you like something, and so you have some basic, some foundation in it. The other thing is the career growth. Now, what do you want to do after you've completed your study? If you're in master's level, possibilities are you're already maybe working in part-time or full-time. If you're in PhD level, possibilities are you're already working. Now, you need to select a topic that is going to support you to grow career-wise, yeah, and even to have that personal fulfillment that you did something that is interesting and something that is going to help you to become better. Finally, in terms of interest is a curiosity. if you always have a problem that you are desired to solve, a problem that you always thought it is important to have it solved, that's when you come to curiosity, when you want to explore knowledge and learn many things. Then once you've understood your interest, now you need to come and ask yourself the biggest question. What gap do I need to fill? Now, a gap is primarily a problem that you find hasn't been solved, has been solved but not satisfactorily, or something that is emerging. Now, notice I've said three important parts. A problem that has not been solved, a problem that is not solved fully, let's say it's 30% solved, yeah, or a problem that is new. Now, your gap should be an introduction of a solution that does not exist, an introduction of a solution to a problem that hasn't been solved fully, or an introduction of a solution to an emerging problem, a problem that just emerged maybe this year or probably last month, or maybe something that you foresee in the future. So that's what we call a gap. Now, in a gap, yeah, this is our biggest part. In a gap, we need to understand a catalog. Yeah, give me a minute. I drew something here for you to show you step by step on what I mean by create a research catalog. Okay, I'm back. Now, we've seen step by step from why roots are important, why identifying your interests is important, and how we are going to get a gap. This table demonstrates step by step on how you're supposed to find a scholarly gap for your dissertation topic. Now, the first thing you need to do is you must find time to read. Now, in the process of reading, you'll be reading journals, articles, books that are within your interest. Once you've identified an article that is peer-reviewed, that is in your interest, the first thing you want to do is to number it. So basically, you're just going to call it article number 1. So you're going to fit the article here, the article's title here. So you put the title here. Yeah. So you put the article title here. You put the title. You're going to put the author. Let's say the author was called Ben and James. Then you're going to put the year when that particular article was published. Let's say the article was published in 2020. Then that article was addressing a specific gap within your area of interest. So let's say the gap that they identified, that they solved, was the emergence of social media marketing and how people don't understand it. So they were trying to show people or to provide data on how social media is an important tool to marketing, but people haven't still adopted it yet. So their solved gap was social media marketing. So specifically, they dealt with Facebook. So they solved the problem with Facebook social media marketing. Then in their recommendation, they must have provided areas of further study. That's what we are calling gaps identified. So they normally have to solve a gap that was identified by another article, and then they have to give areas of further study. The areas of further study that they provided, let's say they provided areas of further studies in TikTok marketing. So they provide areas of TikTok marketing, and they normally don't provide one. Yeah, they could provide 3, 4, 5, or 6. If they provide one, well and good. If they provide 2, well and good. So that was their first area they identified. They also identified a gap or area of further study in Instagram, etc. Then from these identified areas of further study, you need to select one. Yeah, because it's in one article, just select one. Yeah, let's say you're going to select TikTok. So that's the one you feel like you can really talk about it in a research paper as a social media marketing tool. Now, again, ensure the one that you select aligns well with your interest. Now, if it doesn't align well with your interest, consider other options that are provided here. If none of them totally aligns with your interest, no harm. You have studied something, you have learned something, and that part of learning from this article number 1 or peer-reviewed research number 1 is going to be very instrumental in your next step of doing the research. That is peer-reviewed article number 1. Yeah, you need to consider peer-reviewed article number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on and so forth. So I normally recommend based on the scope of your work. Again, we talked about the scope of your work here under the rules. Based on the scope of the work that you are doing, it's always recommended to look at probably 10 to 20. So you could consider 10 to 20 peer-reviewed articles, summarize them in a table by indicating the title, the name of the author who wrote that article, when that article was published. Now, another important part about when the article was published, you'd want to look at articles that are current, something that was not published in 2015 and above and below, I mean. So, in a research paper, mainly for this level, master's and PhD, it's always important to look at the most current articles because they are going to provide the most current areas of further study. So probably a gap of 2 to 3 years, 4 years at most. So you could say 4 years and below. Yeah? So 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. Yeah? So if you consider an article published between 4 years and below, that will be okay. So don't consider articles that were published in 2015, 2010, and so on and so forth. They are most likely going to be very important to you to understand, but they do not have the most current data regarding your area of interest. Once you've done with the year, you need to indicate the problem that that particular article solved, and then that article might have, or in most cases, it will have provided areas of further study. And from this area of further study, just select 1 or 2, indicate them here. Now, once you are done, let's assume you're going to consider 10 articles. Once you are done with serial number 1 all the way to serial number 10, you're going to have so many interests here. And now, out of these interests, you're going to look at the one that resonates well with your rules, the one that resonates well with your interest, and the one that you feel, yes, this is going to provide or is going to enhance me to have some personal or career growth. List them down here. Then once you are done with all that, you cannot handle 10 topics. Yeah. So you have to eliminate. And the elimination criteria I've told you, consider the rules, consider the interests. You're going to settle down on 2 or 3. So at this level, if you approach a supervisor, I believe they are going to help you to settle on the best that you feel that you have put the right effort into selecting. So basically, that's it. The only thing you need to understand is there are always rules that you need to follow. Your interests are very important because at the end of the day, this paper is about you and about the problems that you can be able to solve, either in your organization, in your school, in your industry, in your community. That's why your interest is very, very, very important. Actually, if I were to rate these subsections in terms of importance, I think this one is 50% important. Everything else, the 50% remaining is distributed among these. Because if you do something that you're not interested in, you end up not learning. So it will not be learning. And you only learn when you do something that you feel, yes, I'm into this and I want to pursue this. And I'll put my best effort to come up with the best research that is solving a particular problem in the most effective way. So your interest, your gaps ends up to a research topic. And this research topic is always advisable. You have 2 or 3, sit down with your supervisor, have a discussion, create a framework, always follow the outline given in your school, step by step, keep in touch with your supervisor, consulting every step, and you're going to have a very, not only powerful, but a very effective research paper at the end of your research period. So that's it. We have it. The simplest way of coming up with generating a dissertation topic for your master's or your PhD level. Thank you.